Hello, so this is another video about SSDs, and I'm gonna continue to test primarily these two SSDs, but also I have the other ones. Like this is the Samsung 840 Pro SSD, the cheap Kingston SSD, and Samsung 850 EVO SSD, and these two are just HDDs. One is 5400 RPM and second one is 7200 RPM. And first of all, I wanna thank you for all of your comments in the last video about these two SSDs. I learned some new things, and basically a lot of you were saying that even when this SSD is old, it should last more than this one because it's more reliable. This was made in 2010 and it was using MLC technology, which is multi-level cell. This one is newer one. It's cheaper to make because it is using quad level cell or QLC. Basically, these ones, MLC SSDs, are not made for consumer use anymore. And from all of these SSDs, I'm not gonna, we don't need HDDs right now. So this one is MLC. Also, the Samsung is MLC. This is from 2012, and it was, back in time, it was high-end SSD, 256 gigabytes. It wasn't cheap. I think it cost like $250. This is the cheaper one from around, I think, 2017, 2018. It is using triple cell. Triple cell technology. Also, this one is a triple cell, this Samsung one. In the last video, I ran some benchmarks, and this SSD was faster than the old one. But what I want to do in this video is just put it into like normal tests, because usually I'm using these SSDs as the external storage, because when I want to transfer some big data faster than on the basic HDDs, I'm using these SSDs. So first of all, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna measure the transfer speed of these 5 SSDs and also compare it to these 2 HDDs, and we will see which one is faster when you are using them as external HDDs or SSDs, like the external storage. Okay, so to test the transfer speeds, I was again using this external box for the SSDs or HDDs and my M1 Max MacBook. What I was doing, I was copying this 85 gigabyte file over to SSD and then back from SSD to Mac to measure like the write speeds and read speeds. And for the copying, I was using this TeraCopy program, which showed me how fast it is transferring to that data in megabytes per second. Okay, and here you can see the results in minutes. So first SSD I checked was this cheap Patriot one, and it copied 85 gigabytes in 18 minutes from the MacBook to the SSD, and as expected, it was running fine, like 200 megabytes per second, but after like 30 gigabytes, it went down to approximately half of the speed, like 100 megabytes, and then it kept like those 100 gigabytes until it was done. So overall it took 18 minutes to write the 85 gigabyte file to the SSD, and when I copied from the SSD back to the computer, to this Mac, it took 5 minutes. Just fine. I think it's yeah, not really good write speed, and the write speed is fine. I was really disappointed with this old Kingston. I don't know what went wrong, but I tested it on the multiple computers and with multiple these external boxes, but still it started like similar than the Patriot one, but then the write speeds went down to like 30 or 60 megabytes per second, and it took 38 minutes to copy the file from the Mac to SSD. Then when I copied back, it took 6 minutes, which is pretty much comparable with the Patriot SSD. As I said, I don't know what went wrong, but I tried different computers, different boxes, different cables. Still the same issue. And all of these disks were like formatted, like brand new. Also, I checked the health on all of them, and they're pretty much like at 98%. So the issue is not that this SSD is faulty or something like that. It just, I don't know, maybe you don't like when you are using it as external SSD. Don't know. The two Samsung SSDs, they are same, much faster than these two. Yeah, this is the 840 Pro, this is the 850 EVO. 7 minutes to copy 85 gigabytes. Really nice. I don't have any complaints. 4 minutes to copy it back to computer. The Kingston S, the S means silver because I don't know how to call it. It is this one, the cheap Kingston SSD from 2017. Yeah, and it was it was faster than this new SSD. So yeah, I was surprised by this one. And 7200 RPM hard drive, 29 minutes to copy to file, which was faster than the old Kingston SSD, but significantly slower when we were copying it back to Mac. 6 minutes versus 20 minutes. 5400 RPM hard drive. It took almost 1 hour to copy 85 gigabytes file to HDD, and 45 minutes to copy it back to Mac. So basically, yeah, it's what I expected. But in this I'm really disappointed, and I don't know what happened. But it is what it is. Yeah, as I said, I tried it multiple times, and I don't know where the problem is. So in this next test, I'm gonna be using this MacBook Pro from 2012, which is the last MacBook which was using the SATA hard drive or SATA connection to hard drive or SSDs. And I'm gonna install the system on these 3 SSDs, and I'm gonna compare the speeds in every one of them. Okay, so here are the results from the benchmark. I installed macOS Catalina, which is the last supported system on MacBook Pro from 2012, and I ran Amorphous Diskmark benchmark on these three SSDs, and here you can see the results. This is the old Kingston, new page-shared SSD, and Samsung 840 Pro SSD. And as you can see, you can make a picture yourself. These newer SSDs are much faster than the Kingston SSD. What I want to say is that this Kingston is using older SATA 2 SSD, and these two other ones are using SATA 3. So yeah, that's the difference you have to keep in mind when you are buying these old SSDs, even when they are for the good price. This MacBook Pro supports SATA 3 speeds, but yeah, this is only SATA 2, so maybe that's why there is this big difference. I don't know, in everyday use, don't know, maybe when you are copying files or playing some games or MacBook, don't know, you can tell the difference, but I tried to load some pages and it was basically the same. You can't tell the difference between the Kingston and the page-shared or Samsung. This is the last test, and what I'm gonna do, or what I want to do, is to give this Kingston another chance to redeem itself. Because yeah, in the first test, when I was copying data to it, it was pretty slow. It was slower than the old spinning hard drive. So what I want to do, or what I have here, is the HP computer from like 2018, I don't know, but what this computer have inside is the NVMe drive, but also the SATA connection for 2.5 inch drive. So basically what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take this out, put the SSD in, and I'm gonna try to copy the 85 gigabyte file from the NVMe SSD to the SATA SSD, and we will see if the performance is gonna be better than when I was using the external box. Also, I'm gonna be testing just these three SSDs. Okay, and here are the results. Also in the minutes, I copied the same 85 gigabyte file from the NVMe to SSDs, SATA SSDs, and then back from the SATA to NVMe. And this was much better. The Kingston SSD was performing much better in the computer, when it was in the computer, than when I was using it as external drive. You can see here it performed better than the page-shared drive. We can compare it here in this chart. You can see it took 38 minutes to copy the file when I was using it via Thunderbolt 4 cable and external hard drive enclosure. But when it was inside when I used it like this inside the computer, the performance was much better, like 9 minutes. It was 38 minutes and now it was just 9 minutes. Also, yeah, the read speeds were a little bit worse, from 6 minutes to 8 minutes in both. Patriot was even slower when reading from the disk and copying it to NVMe. Yeah, 5 minutes versus 8 minutes. But the Patriot one, much slower in this case than Kingston. Still faster, like 2 minutes faster when I was using this external SSD, but now the Kingston is faster. So I don't know what to think about this, to be honest. And of course, the Samsung SSD just, yeah, it was doing its thing. It was nice, just fast. Like 85 gigabytes in 3 minutes. It's just really nice. I think it's nice. And maybe one thing I want to mention in this case is that Kingston and Samsung, they were just copying files at the same speed the whole time when it was copying. Like Samsung was copying it like 400 megabytes per second, and the Kingston maybe, I don't know, 200, something like that. But it was 200 across the whole whole time when it was transferring the data. The Patriot one, it was running faster when I started it, faster than the Kingston, but then after like 50% it came down from, I don't know, 250 to like 100 or something like that. Yeah, so that's the thing. Also, it was doing the same thing here when I copied the files when I was using it as the external SSD. It was running fine, 250 megabytes per second, and then after 30 gigabytes it went down to 100. I don't know if this is because it's not doesn't have a DRAM or something like that, and that is the other thing. From these manufacturers like Kingston or Samsung, you can download the PDFs and you can learn anything you want about the SSDs, but this one, you have the information on the page from where you are buying it, and that's it. You don't know how much DRAM you have. In this case, there is no DRAM at all. But I want to talk about it in a while. So in this case, I don't know. For me, the best option is the Samsung. Definitely. Like, you can buy this one and it's gonna work fine in old computers from 2006, but like in the computers which are using the SATA 2, I think this is a still pretty good option when you are not expecting much. But in the computers that are using the SATA 3 connection, I still prefer this one. And if you are using the computers like this one, that you have NVMe and you want some extra storage and you have a SATA connection, the Samsung is a way to go for me. Okay, few last things I want to talk about is when you are buying these SSDs, you should check the TBV specification, which is terabyte per terabyte written. And what that means is that how much terabyte you can write on the SSD, because before it's gone like bad or something like that. It doesn't mean when this one, for example, has 16 TBV, so it should last at least 60 terabytes. When you write 60 terabytes on it, it should last at least that. It doesn't mean that after 60 terabytes it will be like unusable. Yeah, it just means there are guarantee that it's gonna last at least 60 terabytes. And you know, I try to find TBVs on all of these, and for example, this I could not find anything. The Kingston is just saying that it should last 1 million hours in use. Which, like, what does that mean? I don't know. Because you can use it every day. You can copy like every day 128 gigabytes back and forth. Or you can just use it for web browsing or something like that. It doesn't make sense to me. If you can explain, I'll be glad. But from my view, it's saying nothing about how long this should last. And when I'm gonna compare these two, for example, so what I'm trying to say by this is that, yeah, if you want to use the SSD for the big data transfers or something like that, you will be better with the Samsung SSDs. These two are just nice SSDs. Even if they are old, I will have no problem to pay $20 or $30 even when they are used. But paid like $20 for this? No way. I mean, no. This one for 12 bucks is just, and when I'm using it in all computers, that's all I want. I just want to use the SSD in the old computer, and this is just fine. And it's still, like, you can say yeah, it's 8 bucks. Yeah, but it's still, when you're paying 12 versus 20, it's still a pretty big difference in this lower price. So yeah. And in this video I tried to do some real life tests. Like, the people like me, they just want to buy an SSD and use it right away. It doesn't matter if I want to use it as an external drive or internal drive, it should just work. Yeah, but as you can see in this case, this is absolutely unusable when you are using it as external SSD. As I said, I don't know why, but that's what it is. So yeah, you can just check the sites of the manufacturers, and they are gonna tell you, yeah, they should go up to I don't know, 300 megabytes per second, but in real life it is transferring data like 100 megabytes per second. So it doesn't make sense, and that is why I made this video, just to let you know how is the real performance of these things. Also, these are just my SSDs that I have in home right now. There is just hundreds of other brands that are making the SSDs. So the choice is up to you. I'm just saying that I don't understand why people are hating, for example, this SSD. It does not perform terrible in any tests. And when a lot of people are saying that you should buy this instead because it's more reliable than this one, yeah, still, I'm sorry, I disagree in this one. If I want to choose, if I have to choose between this one for $20 and this one for $12, I'm gonna choose this one still, after all these tests. but if you have some more money you can spend, it's better to spend it on the Samsung SSDs. So yeah, that's all for me. I don't know, just let me know if I was doing something wrong. Yeah, go ahead and tell me in the comments, and thank you very much for watching.